how cool that was. And racing here with my parents, running Legends cars, thinking about the first time we drove down here, driving through the Anfield Tunnel, and thinking this was the biggest racetrack we've ever been to. And we were just down visiting, and we met Kenny Reagan, who runs Legends of Georgia over there, David's dad, and he said, "Why don't you race a Bandolero and give it a shot?" And we did that day. He let us rent one for the weekend, and we raced, and then came back down here about 6 months later when we moved and started racing right here. Ran so many races. There's so many memories of showing up here Monday nights and practicing, Wednesday nights, and then Thursday nights we'd race. And our race shop was 2 miles up the road. I lived in the condo up there, and the dream was always to race on the big track, right? Every time you ran that quarter mile over and over again, the dream was, someday I just want to go straight and hit the big banks, That was what it was about for me. And I guess this win here is for those kids. I got to meet a lot of them this weekend. I'm sure you guys saw them around, a lot of kids that race, and just shows that you keep working hard and chasing your dreams, and the dream of always driving a cup car into that victory lane came true today. Is really neat.
That's awesome. Let's go ahead and open the floor for questions. We'll start with Jordan, then we'll go to Kelly.
From Yankee Athletic, how would you describe that battle with Brad? Like a cat and mouse, chess match?
I mean, it was just lane versus lane is what it was, right? Inside versus outside, and there's times that I could have, almost cleared them and moved up, but I really wanted to get my teammates clear because I'd much rather have my teammates behind me if I could. And I knew how fast the Team Penske cars were. Obviously, they qualified fast, and I felt like, man, if I can just get them clear, I have a better chance of winning this thing. And I thought I messed up because there, 4 laps to go. The outside lane got like 4 cars cleared. And I was like, oh man, too far back. One was going to pull down in front of me, and now I'm not the leader of the lane. And then it all kind of changed as quickly as I thought that. Corey moved down to the bottom lane and gave me a hell of a push down the front stretch, and was able to clear the 20, who was second on the outside at the time, I think, or maybe it was 45. I don't remember actually. I think it was 45, and was able to get to Brad's back bumper, and I thought, man, I just got to break the plane here. I got to get the inside here. I got to get one or the other. I can't let him stop my momentum. Was able to get to his outside. And then when he came off the corner, he had me pinned up against the wall, and that really was what pinned the 20 behind me, to where he had to push me down the back stretch. And so when I backed up to him and got the push, that was enough to clear me with plenty into the final corner and be able to race them side by side and kind of get the victory lane there. So just a really fast Mustang, very fast Team Penske car. And, just special to win here for multiple reasons. We talked about just the heritage, but also Auto Trader's backyard, Coca-Cola's backyard, headquartered in Atlanta. Is a lot of really big things, for winning here. So great day for sure.
Was there any move? Were you anticipating every move he was making because you know him so well, and you like, oh, he's going to do that, and then he did it?
I mean, I know Brad really well, on and off the racetrack, right? And I know he's going to do anything to win a race, and rightfully so, right? I wouldn't say our racing mentalities are very different. That's why, I feel like we get along well, but we also sometimes have clashed on the track every now and again, not very often, but we both race really, really hard. So, I felt like we were definitely going to duke it out, but, when I got to his outside, it was either he was going to wreck or we were going to just race and hopefully he was going to get the big push on the bottom. That was his only hope there. So it just ultimately ended up working out fine. But I mean, it's fun racing with him, to answer your question, I guess, because you kind of have an idea of what he's thinking a little bit. But and also with TJ, right? He's a spotter, and he was my spotter for years, so I kind of have an idea of what information TJ's feeding him, and it all just kind of worked out for us.
Thank you.
We're going to go Kelly, Dustin, Bob, Dalton.
Kelly, PrimaRacer.com. Joey, you spoke there about trying to, on the bottom, trying to get your teammates clear. Coleman was giving you really good information about Austin getting tight off the corner, he kept losing momentum down there and the bottom would drag back a little bit. Did you ever have thoughts of ditching the bottom? Or you seem to be staying pretty committed to the bottom?
I did stay committed to the bottom because my teammates were down there. Dean Coleman did an amazing job kind of painting a picture of what that looked like for me. He's so good at what he does. It's ridiculous. It's so much fun to listen to him and talk to him before the race, and the homework that he does and how well he understands the sport. It really helps me. And you know, when he was telling me all this stuff, I'm like, I know, like I see it. He's telling me about it. I'm like, I know, but I wonder if I should get up. But I really wanted my teammates to work with me, and it's hard to have that conversation back and forth while we're racing. But I really felt like the Team Penske cars were so fast, and I just thought, man, if we stay together, it'd be good. And then towards the end of the run is when no one was able to stay close enough together anymore, right? The 2 was falling off the 12, and they couldn't really stay close enough to keep the run going down the straightaways, and that's when we started kind of falling apart. Just probably too many laps on the bottom and grinding the tires off of them, and it's not much tire wear, but there is some. Tires did need a little bit, and I think eventually when the tires were starting to wear, handling's coming in, and I think that's where we eventually just kind of lost each other there towards the end.
You said after wrecking out in Las Vegas, the Fords were behind. Last week seemed like a long day for you guys. You fell behind early at Phoenix. Is today a step in the right direction, or was today more an indication of the super speedway speed that you all have?
It's an indication of the direction we went. I think it's pretty obvious. I think the whole garage knows what direction we've gone at this point, and where our strengths are going to be and where our weaknesses are going to be. And you know, our strengths definitely, obviously, we see the top 8 qualifying is Fords. Well, you pretty much know what their strengths are at that point, and right, I mean, it's pretty easy to see it. So yeah, that was, we knew we needed to come here and maximize our day, and stage win, a pole, leading a bunch of laps. Almost had a second stage win if I didn't make a mistake there, but ultimately at least I didn't make a mistake in the last lap.
Justin Long, NBC Sports. Joey, after you got the push from Corey on the last lap in the bottom lane, you moved up to the top lane to get on the right side of Brad, and it seems like that there was just very little room to make that room to get up to the top, to get squeezed between Brad's car and Christopher Bell's car. Can you kind of take me through that, what you recall, and just how I mean, maybe that's just a move you just have to make, and why there wasn't a wreck at that point? Because how many times have we seen wrecks at the end of like super speedway type of races that go into double, triple overtimes because the guys keep running each other?
Yeah, I mean, I just worked out. I don't know. My car was able to take a push really well, and when Corey clobbered me at start finish line, it gave me such a big run. I thought it's going to be close to clearing the 20. I think I can, and I committed to the move. And it was either he was going to have to release the wheel, lift, or something. I was going to come up, because when you get a run like that on the last lap, you can't lift. You can't. And I knew, Brad saw was on the bottom, so he's going to block the bottom initially. So I have to go where he's not. And where he's not is going to be up the racetrack. So I had to get up there and try to slip to his outside. And ultimately, that's the move that was going to win the race, right? If I got to his inside, you have a chance, maybe a 20% chance of winning the race, depending on what kind of push you get down the backstretch. But most likely, we weren't going to win the race. And so when I had a big enough run, and I thought, man, I could open the wheel and maybe get to his outside here, that was kind of the difference maker. And once I broke the plane and pulled him back, it was pretty much game over for him.
Obviously, Corey would love to have won, but he said he certainly was happy for you, friendship, I guess, that you guys have. Career best fourth place finish for him. To see somebody, I mean, we've seen it before at this track and some others, Daytona, Talladega, but to see somebody who's had to fight, struggle to get these opportunities, from your perspective, what is it like to see somebody like Corey get a top 5 and have a career best finish today?
Yeah, it's a great day for him. Shoot, he almost won the race here last time, so I don't think any of us are surprised by it. When the race coming towards the end, I was like, oh, there he is. Where's he been all day? And Corey just kind of popped up there. So, they've obviously given him a really good race car, handling race car that can go fast and be able to allow him to make some moves on the racetrack. And he made some good moves there towards the end, and obviously got himself a good spot. And you know, his things. I mean, he had to run. If he went underneath me, he's probably not winning the race, right? His best chance was to give me the shot there, and so it worked out well. There's another kid that raced out there with me when we were kids, right? And now we're working together out there on the racetrack's pretty cool. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna go to Bob, then to Dalton, then to Toby.
Bob Harper, Fox Sports. I have two. The first, like, so were you surprised there was no big wreck at the end of this race?
Yeah, I mean, it happens every time. And if you watch the truck and Xfinity race, well, you would probably bet on it. There was going to be a caution at the end of this thing. And there was a few, but they never really ended up being like really big crashes. Everyone did a good job at avoiding them. And, you know, honestly, I think one of the biggest things is that everyone bolts a lot more grip into their car when they come here compared to Daytona or Talladega. They got the cars trimmed out more, and the cars are able to take a push better. Right? I mean, think about how hard we were hitting each other. If you did that at Daytona, you wreck. So it seems to me the fix is just a little bit more grip, allowing everybody to, you know, be able to handle their race car. And honestly, Goodyear brought a better tire, and the teams learned a lot too. So a lot of the cautions before were from tires popping. We didn't have that today, right? And to the point, you had green flag pit stops. You know, I mean, we didn't really think that was going to happen. To be honest, we didn't think green flag stops was going to happen. But you know, it all went smooth too, right? The new pit road, all that stuff, it worked out well.
And speaking of things that you didn't think were going to happen, I would say your performance at the previous two races, Vegas and Phoenix, especially after last year winning both those races, I assume it was maybe, I don't know what you would characterize as maybe startling, but kind of what was the attitude of this team, or maybe were you guys deflated after last week at all? Or, kind of what was the atmosphere around your group?
I would say deflated. You know, we know the situation we're in this year, and we know we have to be perfect all the time. And it's just a team that can do it. It's this team that knows how to do that. And we were not perfect last week in Phoenix, right? I misguided the team with the setup after practice, and we paid the penalty with the first run of the race. And by the time we got it good, we got going pretty well, and then we had a rough day on pit road, and we weren't perfect. If we weren't perfect, we could have done exactly what the 12 did and had a chance to win the race, right? And we were too far back to put two tires on it and didn't have a chance to win there. So we can win anywhere at any point because the team's strong. We just had an off day, right? And that's all I can say. And we know when we come to racetracks like this, we're going to be really, really good and have the dominant race cars. And so we need to maximize days like this, like we did. And so just a different situation than we had last year. And we just have to learn to race a little bit differently.
Okay, we're gonna go to Dalton, then to Toby, then we're gonna go upstairs to the press box. Go ahead, Dalton.
Hey Joey, Dalton Hopkins from OneStretch.com. So I got this stat from a coworker, and apparently this is your first Cup Series win for Penske with a primary sponsor that's not Shell Pencil. Did you?
That's true.
You were aware of that?
Oh, yeah.
So can you talk about?
I've been reminded.
Well, excellent. So can you talk about what a win for these sponsors mean? We always hear about what they mean for, the race teams and the drivers and things like that, but can you talk about how much a primary sponsor values finishing so well on a car in victory lane?
It means a lot. Auto Trader's been a partner of Team Penske, I think, for 8 years or so. And they won here, I believe, with Brad in the past. And I've been close a few times, and I've wrecked this car plenty of times. So it felt good to finally win with this thing. And then, it feels kind of weird that, with AAA on the car as well, we've been close so many times for the last 10 years, and haven't been able to win with that one yet either. So, finally won one without the shell on the car, and definitely a little different for sure, but nice to get them a victory as well here. So, we'll try to click one off for AAA later this year too. Thanks.
So,
Hey, Joey, Toby Christie, TobyChristie.com. You talked earlier about the amount of knowledge you have about Brad Kozlowski because you guys run together so many times in the past. Talk about the respect level that you guys showed to each other. I know things were intense in the last few laps, but it seemed like there was a lot of respect shown in the last couple laps.
Yeah, I think we both know we're good at this, right? Like, I feel like Brad is one of the top 5 best speedway racers on the racetrack. I feel like I'm in there, and there's a few others that are in there that you just know are really, really good at it. And you know, we were kind of duking it out back and forth. We're side by side, and we're side drafting each other and all this. Like, okay, like this is you know, what you would expect, and it's fun going up against the best like that. You know, it's he works really hard at it. He studies it. He's really smart at speedway racing for sure. And you know, when you think of driver and spotter combinations, you know, you're going against 2 of the best right there, right? And so whether it's TJ and Brad or myself and Coleman, you know, if I'm picking a couple pairings of people that understand the draft, those 2 groups are the best at it. And so it was fun to kind of go back and forth there at the end.
And when you